everybody, sorry to interrupt the video, but guess what? I'm moving up in the world of sponsorships. This video is sponsored by Fanstory, who sells some really cool anime and manga merch, and a bunch of other cool merch for some pretty cool prices. If you want to get some cool outfits and a bunch of other stuff for an even lower price, then make sure to click the link in the description down below and put a discount code DAMON for 5% off your order. Again, that's code DAMON for 5% off of your order. Hopefully, you won't regret your purchases. Now let's get back to the video.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be heading back into the GT edition of What If Future Trunks Could Change the Past. The last part got a lot of praise, and I'm really glad that you guys liked it. So, I'll definitely do more GT editions like this in the future. So if you want to see more of these, then make sure to like and subscribe to this video. That way you don't miss out on any more. As always, huge shout out to all of my amazing patrons for making this video possible. It really means so much you're able to support. With this much shorter intro out of the way, let's finish off this series with GT. We last left off with Goku being transformed back into an adult by Whis, after the world almost ended due to him not being able to access godly ki while in his child body. With his new adult body, he can now fully test the waters of this new Super Saiyan 4 state, and being able to combine it with godly ki. He begins training with Broly once more, and seeing if he can get the Saiyan to achieve this kind of power as well, as it really seems to be an evolution of the Ikari power that he showed off years prior. Broly is still feeling sorry about the whole baby situation, though the others explained that it wasn't really his fault, as they were all overtaken by Baby, and he just happened to be the host. It wasn't really his doing. Broly thanks them all for understanding, and while he is worn down from fighting right now since he's so tired from the baby situation, he's still willing to train with Goku to help him with his Super Saiyan 4, since he's the only other Saiyan who truly understands the power of this transformation. Vegeta isn't really too eager to get this kind of power for himself, as while it was great while they were Vegito, he's evolved too far past the primitive Saiyan roots, and is much more into godlyhood. He still knows he isn't a true god, but if anything, Super Saiyan 4 would hold him back from his true Ultra Ego path, as he wants to continue evolving in that way, compared to evolving back to Super Saiyan 4. Vegito is able to learn Ultra Ego in the time skip between N to Z and GT, and he really likes using that godly to god destruction power. So going backwards to Super Saiyan 4 really isn't his style right now. Not to say he'll ever not try to get the form, but right now he wants to perfect Ultra Ego before he goes back. Everybody just continues their training as normal, though there is another threat brewing right below. Literally, down below in Hell. In Hell, Dr. Mew has recently arrived after Baby killed him, and has come across another doctor, Dr. Gero. Though this time, Gero isn't an android of his own making, as remember, this is technically the original Future Trunks timeline, where Gero was killed after releasing 17 and 18, so he never had a chance to become Android 20. Gero takes a liking to Mew, as they both seem to clash rather well with their hatred for Saiyans, which is in turn Goku, and they need to come up with a plan to kill them once and for all, though that's going to be harder this time, without Super 17. You see, the only reason they managed to escape Hell before was because of building Hellfighter 17 and linking him with the 17 of Earth to get them out of there. But this time, there is no 17 on Earth, as he was killed by Vegeta back in the Android Saga, and are currently here with them in Hell. There is no way to return by linking with the living world itself, but they may be able to find another way. The two decide that it might be best for them to use their greatest creations together to get out of here: Cell and Baby. What always confused me about the Super 17 arc was that Baby died too, but was never brought back to Earth, which I guess makes sense from a writer's point of view to not instantly reuse the same villain, but for continuity's sake, it doesn't really make much sense. So in this story, to have it actually make sense, Baby is going to be here in Hell too. Since he is still angry about losing to Vegito, he teams up again with Mew, and meets Perfect Cell, and these two are definitely the key. Since Perfect Cell is the culmination of all the Z Warrior's powers, even possessing Beerus's God of Destruction abilities. Where it took a mastered Ultra Instinct Goku to bring him down, he would certainly create trouble for the living world if he were brought back, and Baby explains that the Saiyans use something called fusion to be able to defeat him, so maybe they should use some type of fusion themselves. Cell agrees that this would be the best course of action, and Baby possesses Cell's body, giving us Baby Cell, who has way more potential than even Broly due to all the hacks that Cell's body possesses. Even with the ultimate android warrior created, they're all still stuck in Hell, but this is where another villain comes into play to help escape: Babidi. Since Baby Cell has more than enough power to blow a hole in dimensions, if Babidi can utilize that to make that power an actual portal, then the villain should be able to escape and wreak havoc on the living world once more. Jiro and Mew love that plan, and Babidi's power is put into action with him using his magic while Baby Cell screams, and this creates a gigantic portal to Earth, allowing all of its past villains a chance to escape. The Z-Warriors on Earth sense this great power, and noticed a hole in the sky and a lot of old foes flying out through it to destroy the planet. They all instantly go to the portal and attempt to stop the onslaught on everybody. All of the old villains cause great destruction, but are pretty easy to handle, especially those weaker ones. But there are the main villains that are of the utmost danger, that being of course Baby Cell, Golden Frieza, Super Saiyan Rose Vegeta Black, and Moro 7-3. These are the villains who all have grudges against somebody in particular and go after them. Goku realizes the scope of this fight and immediately goes into MUI and try and end this battle before it gets to be too much to handle. MUI Goku clashes with Baby Cell, who says it's nice to see him all grown up and at full power now, but it doesn't matter against the ultimate android. Baby Cell activates his god powers and lays one on Goku, leaving him stunned on how powerful a villainous fusion can be. Gohan fights out with Golden Frieza, as Frieza is still pissed that he never got to show off his power when he was revived before, due to Gohan killing him before he had the chance. Frieza's had a lot of training in Hell, which has allowed him to master his golden form, meaning huge trouble for Gohan, who is still powerful, but Frieza closed the gap through training by a huge deal. Vegeta fights with Vegeta Black, as he has a grudge against a man who stole his body, and used it to almost kill his family. Vegeta Black managed to get godly powers while in Hell, opening up the gate for Super Saiyan Rose, which he's trained in to get even more powerful. Luckily, Vegeta has trained a lot since Black's death, and is actually a little too OP for Black, who didn't expect Vegeta to really be this powerful in his own body. Even with all the hacks that Black has, Vegeta has just trained for so long and has had more powerful transformations under his belt that Black is killed once again. And unlike GT though, I'm going to make the change that makes the most sense. You don't become immortal after you die, but if you die while already being dead, then you just cease to exist, your soul completely destroyed, and you're not going to be able to be revived at all, since you're no longer around. I like that better than you just being immortal, since that doesn't make any sense. Broly battles it out with Moro, and again, since Broly's power is one that continues to rise and rise, Moro has a harder time stealing his power and allowing him to get stronger as well. He's lucky he didn't have to face off with Broly the last time, but this is Moro 7-3 we're talking about, since he absorbed 7-3 before returning to the planet. That way, he could stand a chance once more. Luckily, Broly has Goten and Trunks to help him. And once Vegeta deals with Black, he's able to help these guys gang up on Moro and corner him. Moro may be a little stronger, but he didn't train much in the afterlife, and just waited for his magic to come back, and since everybody else here has been training their asses off since he died, it's not good for him, and Moro is destroyed once more, and this time, for good. They all notice how Goku is struggling against Baby Cell's god form, and Vegeta says he'll help him out, and the others should go help Gohan against Frieza. They all split, and the two pure Saiyans help fight once more, with Vegeta saying he still hasn't forgotten how Baby took him over, and asks if he wants to die once again. Of course, even MUI Goku is having trouble with this guy, and does Vegeta can do much of anything either. They may need to fuse once again, since Vegito may truly be the only one who can finish this for good. Baby Cell is prepared for that though, and once Shin and Gabito make it on the battlefield to give off their Potara, Baby Cell yells "Now!" and Deborah appears behind the two to slash at them with his sword, and then spit on them both, turning them to stone. Deborah was ordered to stay behind to wait for the two to attempt fusion, and thankfully, they did, so now the Kai isn't an issue anymore. Goku and Vegeta go and try and save the two, but are knocked down by Baby Cell. Deborah goes to finish off them, but Piccolo fires a special beam cannon through his skull, killing Deborah for good and freeing Shin and Gabito. Baby Cell yells in anger, knocking both Goku and Vegeta down, and rushing over to Shin and prevent Vegito from joining the battle. He has bigger problems to worry about though, as Beerus appears in front of him, knocking him away from Shin. He tells them all to leave now, as he'll be pissed if Shin dies on the job. As they leave, Beerus tells Cell he heard of what he did, copying his DNA to use and infecting the planet as Baby, destroying all the good food here. He's not going to let them get away with that, and since tearing realities is a crime against the gods, he feels it's necessary for him to step in here. Beerus tells the Saiyans to back off, and this is going to be his battle. Beerus powers up into his full power and fights with Baby Cell himself. With Beerus occupying Cell, Goku and Vegeta join the fight against Frieza, who is cornered by all of these Saiyans coming after him all at once. Even though Frieza is powerful, having 4 Super Saiyan Blues, 1 Ultra Ego user, and 1 MUI user all after him at once is enough to get him brutally beaten up, and he is killed for good. The others watch as Beerus shows off his true power for the first time, countering everything that Baby Cell is throwing at him, and Beerus laughs as this god power that Cell is showing off is nothing compared to the true god's power. Baby Cell is getting infuriated at Beerus, firing a revenge death ball infused with a high energy towards the god, which Beerus retaliates by activating his own Ultra Instinct, dodging and appearing behind Baby Cell to knock him directly into his own death ball. Baby Cell screams as his own Hakai energy is surrounding his body, overtaking him until there is nothing left. Beerus then appears behind the ball, using his own Hakai energy to push it towards the wormhole in the sky, hitting it dead on, destroying the wormhole, and preventing any more interference from Hell ever again. Beerus then looks to the others and smirks, saying that's how a real god does it. The Z-Fighters look at Beerus in amazement, and realize they all still have a long way to go until they match his level of power. With this pseudo Super 17 arc completed, there isn't that much damage has taken over the planet, so there really isn't a need to use the Dragon Balls, meaning we most likely wouldn't need to see the Shadow Dragons at this point in time. But just because they don't use them now though, doesn't mean they won't ever get them used again in the future, as it's pretty much inevitable that the Dragon Balls would need to be used again, and the Shadow Dragons unleashed. Though, this time, this arc would be a breeze. With the Baby arc and the Super 17 arc, the only reason there were actual stories here is because of the events of Super can power up these guys. That way there can be an actual story with stakes. But with the Shadow Dragons, there's absolutely no way that the events of Super can power them up, meaning that they would be as strong as they were in GT when they're unleashed. Now, since they're all the same power, while our Z-Fighters are not, they will be able to easily deal with all of them in literally no time flat. Even if Omega Shenron was created, Goku in just his regular Super Saiyan 4 state could whoop him with no issues at all. Ultra Instinct not even needed. So, the Shadow Dragons will all die without really being a threat to our heroes. Doesn't mean this arc won't have consequence though, as Shenron would still want to leave the planet and have the Z Warriors take charge on their own without him for a change. Shenron asks Goku if he would like to leave the planet with him, but this time, Goku doesn't want to. He has so much left to do here. He has his battle with Vegeta, Beerus, Jiren, everybody from the other universes, so much left to do, that he can't just leave his family behind and abandon all he needs. He declines Shenron's offer, saying that he hopes that they'll meet again someday. Shenron respects Goku's wishes and departs the planet for parts unknown yet to us. With that, we can safely end our GT edition of What If Future Trunks Could Change the Past. It's best to end the story here, with knowing that Goku will always get stronger and make good use of Super Saiyan 4, teaching it to those of Broly and of Universe 6 perhaps, and journeying through the other universes at his own pace to become the greatest hero in the multiverse. You can fill in times of peace with your own imagination, as we shut the door to this incarnation of the Dragon Team for good. I hope you guys all enjoyed the GT edition of What If Future Trunks Could Change the Past, as it was a lot of fun to go back and explore these versions of the characters again, and stories that I've never told before on the channel. It was a huge blast, and I thank you all for joining me for it. Remember, if you'd like more stories like this one, make sure to like this video and subscribe. It would really mean a whole lot, and you'll get a lot of cool stories out of it. Thank you all so much for watching, and until we meet again. See you later! Trunks opens his eyes. He looks around and sees that he's in an all-new place. Wait, how is that possible? He thought he was just fading out of existence. Is this the afterlife? He wipes away his tear and hears a woman yell behind him. Trunks turns around to see the Supreme Kai of Time yelling in his face how he's violated the law of time by traveling back to change an event, and he could have destroyed the entire universe. Trunks has no idea what this lady is talking about, and says he only went back to save Goku, and if he didn't, then the androids would have wiped out everything. Kranoa glares daggers at Trunks, and says that while his intentions were great, he was very dangerous. That's why she took him in his time machine before they could go and meddle with the timeline anymore. She says that this is the first time that somebody going back actually changed things for the better, as him going back actually prevented quite a number of universes being erased by Zeno. But if one more person goes back in time, then everything that has happened will be undone. Trunks asks her what exactly she means, as how can more people go back in time if she has his time machine here? Cronoa laughs, saying that his isn't the only time machine. There are more people out there who can go back in time without use for a machine, and these kind of people can disrupt the fabric of time and space. This timeline now that Trunks has created is the best possible outcome that could happen, as it requires the universes to still be in order, and have everybody be powerful enough to stop any threats. Though, if she goes back in time once again, she could undo it all, and make Trunks, or even worse, her, cease to exist. She brought him here for another reason. His meddling was dangerous, but it proved to her what needed to be done to save all of existence itself, and she's gonna need his help. Trunks asks her what he can do, and she tells him to stand back for a moment. Cronoa flies up into the air, her eyes glowing bright, and immense energy begins to form all around her. Trunks is blown back by all this energy, and he sees Toki Toki fly all around Cronoa as well, his eyes glowing too. There begin to be cracks all around the room that they're in, and finally, it shatters and a gigantic cracking sound is heard, and Cronoa and Toki Toki fall to the ground. Trunks rushes over to ask if she's okay, and she sits up wearily and says she's fine. She's extremely weak now, but she just saved the multiverse. Trunks asks her what she means. She says that she just permanently altered the time stream, where if anybody goes back in time, the timeline itself will branch off into an entirely new one, instead of altering the future like it's always been. Now, she won't be able to erase anybody from existence, and they can go around and find her way easier, and finally put a stop to her. Trunks asked who she is, and Cronoa just smiles and asks Trunks, would you like to join the Time Patrol?